What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So I just got done watching the latest season of Jessica Jones. Um, and overall, I liked it. I liked it. Though I don't think it was as good as the first season. I really, really liked the first season. And we'll get into that. We'll get into the reasons why. There are a few things that I think the first season had that this one didn't. But just a quick heads up, I will be spoiling things from the season. Some big stuff. Some big stuff. So if you haven't seen it yet, probably best go and watch it. Because I will say this right off the bat, it is worth a watch. It is worth a watch. If you liked Jessica Jones, the first season, if you like these Marvel Netflix series, and if you just like that sort of honestly, like, it's not really a superhero thing, really. She's more of like a private eye with superpowers. So it's not really superhero like. It's just in that universe. So if you like that stuff, I would say go and watch it. But I am gonna spoil some stuff, some big stuff. So if you have not seen it, please go watch it and then come on back and check out the review and all that stuff. Okay? All right. So I do think that this season was not as good as the first one. And I think probably for me, and this is not Jessica's fault or anything like that. It's not on the hero side. I think it is the villain side. And that's not to say I didn't like Alyssa. I thought Alyssa was cool, and I liked that she was Jessica's mom, and they had that, that relationship, and it was a conundrum of what Jess should do, because she's like, I want to help my mom, but I know she's this monster who's going around killing people, but is it really her fault or is it not her fault? I just felt like this season didn't really have that iconic villain that I think the first one had. Like Killmonger, the Purple Man was freaking fantastic in the first season. Like, he's just charismatic, and he had this. He was one of those villains that you love to hate, which I think is always important for a villain. And I think that's what Marvel, like in their movie series, struggles with. They do struggle with it a lot, and that's what I'm hoping they get right with Thanos. So I felt like this one, because Alyssa wasn't that villain. She wasn't that villain. She was like a problem that Jess had to figure out. She was a family problem that she's never, like, it's sort of an emotional problem. Like, honestly, the biggest villain that Jess had throughout this entire thing was the villains inside of her. Like, that was the big thing. It was like her coming to grips with who she is and what's been done to her, and the fact that she has killed 3 people, and those those souls, that weight of that action is weighing on her a lot. So yeah, it's more that stuff than Alyssa or Dr. Carl being the main villains. Especially with that last episode. That last episode, like, that was not the showdown that I thought was gonna happen. But that's not to say that I didn't like Alyssa. I thought Alyssa, she was cool. She you could see, like, where Jessica gets her attitude from. She was a straight shooter. Like, she didn't bullshit around. She told it exactly what she's thinking. She was funny. She was funny. She had, like, that relationship she had with Jess was interesting in that way. But when you're leaning on her to be the villain of the season, it does. I don't think it works out as well. It's still a good watch, and it's still interesting to watch. It's just, it doesn't. I don't think it helps Jess progress. It helps Jess progress as a person, but on a hero sort of progression, I don't think she really moved in any direction. I think there are other characters that moved far more on that side than what she did. The thing, though, that I will say that this season did really well is I felt like they did an origin story interestingly. It wasn't a stock standard origin story where it's like, this person's normal, this person has something happen to them, then they become a hero, then they slowly become better hero. This was more like, she's already gone past that part. Now she's having to go back and face those problems and face those memories that she's lost and things like that. So all that whole IGH stuff, the stuff with Carl and all that was interesting. And how they got the powers, like what was happening, how it was more a side effect. Like they were, doing things to help heal people, not actually give them powers. Because that's what I was thinking, like at the start. I was like, oh, okay, it's like this government, company that's probably, trying to create super soldiers, like trying to recreate Cap or, something like that. No, it was more just a mad scientist really trying to figure out a better way to heal people. And it works to a point. Just doesn't really work out so well for the people that are actually having the healing done to them. But yeah, I liked that. I liked how she went back, to the place where she actually basically was taken to after the accident. We actually revisited the accident. We get brought back with her parents and all that, with her brother, and we sort of start to see we see the origin. We see the origin, and it's not, like I said, it's not the stock standard origin story. It was more of a an already established hero. I don't think really Jess is too much of a hero, but she's she's got superpowers and everything. Goes back and has to deal with that. I think going back and dealing with it instead of just showing the origin story is a far better way. So I did like that. I thought it was really, really cool. I like the stuff when her mom sort of like talking to her about like what her family life actually was like prior to the accident, because I think Jess sort of held it up in like this rose tinted glasses, put it up on a pedestal because she lost her entire family, so she sort of brushed over a lot of the problems that were happening with her family and happening with her parents, and her mom just with no chill, just constantly like rattling off like all the problems they were having, and there was just no filter to her at all. But it was cool. It was interesting to see that, and see Jess just didn't suddenly become a loner. She wasn't like the high school cheerleader, then suddenly turned all dark and had and turned into a bit of a loner. Like no. She was full on like she was pretty much a loner prior to that. She was pretty much a loner prior. So her attitude and all that, and clearly gets it from her mom. Yeah, she's been like that for a while. So that was kind of cool to see. That was kind of cool. But like I said, when we get to the climactic part of the season, when the big stuff's got to happen, I don't really think it happened. Mainly because like the last sort of few parts, few episodes really, Jess is pretty much on her mom's side. So there is no villain. That like technically Jess and her mom are the villains. They're the ones that are running from police and stuff like that. And then to finish it all off, when they're on the Ferris wheel and they're sort of having a nice conversation, and her mom's sort of just gonna wait there and wait for the cops to either come get her and shoot her, or I don't know. It ends up being Trish who comes along and shoots her. And we'll get into Trish, because Trish, I think, kind of just really got annoying this season, and we'll get into that. But I think that sort of anticlimactic type thing where it sort of just ends and nothing built up to it, and nothing like it was sort of, it was building up, like it was an emotional build up. Like clearly they were at the end of the road. They're not getting out of this. Her mom was gonna either give herself up or was just gonna let herself get shot, just so that Jess doesn't get dragged down with her. And then suddenly it ends like that in such a weird fashion. Didn't sit all that well with me. It didn't sit all that well. I think I'm thinking like it's a superhero thing. So there should have been like a big confrontation to come down at that point. A big fight between her and her mom. They maybe pushed her to potentially get her flying powers at some point. Is that going to be a thing? Because Jess technically can fly, so is that gonna ever be a thing? Maybe not. Maybe this Jessica Jones just can't fly. Um, but yeah, it just sort of they just turned it on to Trish, and I think they're trying to make it so it's like it's all in the family. Like it's all in this it's a family related issue, and these family problems that she's not had to deal with in a long time, other than obviously with Trish and her mom. She hasn't had to deal with that, and now she's kind of been forced to deal with it. I don't know. I just didn't really like that final, sort of climactic moment there. And then they sort of just brought it down nice and easy after that, and it was just like, no. And everyone was like, let Scott off scot-free. Like everyone just sort of like got let go. Jess got let go. Trish got off pretty much scot-free because pretty much Jess took the blame for shooting her. Because she had the gun. They all think she did it. She wasn't gonna blab. Like everyone, like for all the actions that happened, she got off scot-free. And then, like, yes, she lost her friends. Yes, she lost like her sister or her adopted sister. She lost a lot of that, but she's got her new boyfriend, Oscar, and his son. But like ultimately, on the scale of things, Jess isn't really progressed or degressed in any way. Like she's just sort of her still. She's still what she was at the start. She's just been through a lot more stuff, and she knows a lot more about her past. So, like I said, I think she's progressed as a person, but on a hero level, I don't think she's progressed at all. I think she was the same Jess from beginning to end. She hasn't learned to do any things in different ways. I don't think she's really in control of herself all that much more. She's accepted that she's shut herself off from society, but that's really it. So I felt like, in the first season, she had to move forward. She had to get over Kilgrave. She had to get over that stuff and rise up to the occasion and take him down. This time, not so much. But it's not to say it's bad. I just think it was just not on the level of the first season. That's all. Trish. She progressed quite a bit in this one. She's sort of gone from the talk show host celebrity to now Hellcat, because she is Hellcat. That is her character ultimately going to be. She does get powers. She does have, become a hero. But like the way she got it, she's just like a spoiled brat. Like that annoyed me, that whole sequence. Like pretty much from when she took the inhaler the first time all the way through, she just started to annoy me more and more and more. I'm fine with her trying to help Jess and all that stuff. That's perfectly fine. I prefer her over what Karen and Foggy were trying to do with Matt, trying to force him to stop being, Daredevil and force him to change into what they want him to be. I got really, I hated that. That ground me the wrong way. But I felt like just that the last part of the season with her, she's just like, she's undermining everything to get what she wants. Everything that Jess works for, to make sure her mom's safe, to make sure she's not going to kill anyone, to make sure that all this stuff is happening. And it all takes just for one scientist dude to get away, to go down to Uruguay and just disappear. Nothing will happen, all the rest of it. One, she hates it because she's not going to get her story. And two, she's like, but I want powers, that sort of thing. That's the whole reason she's doing it. And then when she, and then it happens and she goes and gets it done, which is stupid, by the way, because you don't know what it's going to do to you. You don't know if you're going to turn into her, into her mom, into Jess's mom. You don't know what's going to happen. You could be a melted mess. You don't know. She's still sort of coming down off this combat stimulant that she took because she wants to, fight beside Jess all the time. And then it was just like, you're constantly undermining Jess on all the work she's doing. For what? So you can get powers? And then when she wakes up in the hospital and she sees Jess, she blames her for it? Well, maybe if you didn't, ruin all the hard work that Jess done and stop being so selfish, she might have been okay. But no. She's like, but I wanted my powers. It's like, if I was powered, I would know what to do. If I was powered, I would go and save people. I would go and kill her. Maybe you shouldn't have powers then, if you're willing to go and kill someone that easily. That stuff. It was very self-righteous. And it got a little graining a little bit. It just like, Trish, just calm down. Calm down. Like, you're already a big freaking celebrity going out with this dude that, you're in the tabloids, you got all the rest, you got all this power, everyone knows you, and that's still not enough. You want what Jess says. It's like she's like a kid with a mountain of toys. She has every freaking toy, bar one that kid has, and she wants that one. It's like, no, I don't want them. I want that one because that's the one I don't have. It was very childish in a way. It was very childish, and it got annoying. She drags Malcolm into it, and Malcolm has to go through all this stuff. Kind of forces, like, he's a recovering addict as well, and forces him to take this combat stimulant too. Sort of drags him along, sort of drags him into this whole thing, and hurts him. And then, like, he ultimately, gets distanced by Jess, and now he has to go off on his own with the this new PI big grand company thing, which they're doing something very interesting. Like, the stuff at the end with Jerry with those guys is going to be interesting to see what those special discretion jobs are. I don't know what that's going to be, but it looks like something that may come in down the road. But yeah, that Trish, like, it's cool that she's gonna be Hellcat. Like, it's cool that she's gonna be Hellcat now. Well, ultimately we'll get to Hellcat. She's got her powers. At least then she'll be quiet about them. And like, for me, like, she took it very easily, killing her sister's mother. Like, she never saw her as Jess's mom. Never saw her as Jess's mom. She's like, she's just a monster. You gotta put down a monster. You gotta put her down. It's like, do you know what you're asking right now? Do you know what you're asking Jess to do? Go off and kill her own mom. How about she go on and tell you to go and kill your own mom? She's just as annoying. Like, she didn't even think that way. Like, it's that stuff that got really, just like, Trish, you're starting to get just, it's got really frustrating with her near the end. And then for her to ultimately be the kind of like, the, not hero, but the way that her mom dies. Like, I wanted just to, like, crush that gun and just, like, scream at her and tell her to, I know she told her to run, but, like, freaking almost threatened to freaking beat the crap out of her. That sort of thing. Like, first of all, how'd she get there so fast? Cops didn't get there that fast, but she managed to get there that fast. I guess she didn't know where it was. But yeah, it's just her trying to be involved in everything, which, yeah, got annoying. Like I said with Malcolm, I thought Malcolm was kind of cool. This thing, kind of like, Jess's assistant for a while there, sort of helping her out, like a little apprentice coming along, learning the ropes. Now he's in with Price Chang, that sort of it's a PI firm, basically. It's a more upscale market one compared to Jess. Basically the competition. He's gone over there with them. Jerry Hogarth, Trinity from Matrix. That's all I see when I see her. But she had an interesting little arc throughout this entire thing. She sort of got humbled a little bit in this. Uh, First of all, she's kind of getting, threatened by her partners in the law firm. Because of the whole stuff with her ex, she was going out with the secretary or something. It was something like that. Then she finds out that she's got ALS, and it's her dealing with that. Her kind of finding out her mortality, essentially. She has all this power, all this money, all this everything can't protect you from that sort of thing. So her partners are now like they have a contractual reason to get her out. So she's trying to fight that. She gets Jess involved, and ultimately Malcolm finishes that off. But then she has this interesting thing with this nurse that was with IGH to keep. She was a witness just to keep safe, just to figure out what IGH was doing and like what all this stuff that they had. She kind of falls for her. Jerry falls for Enos, and they have a thing. And Enos tricks Jerry into getting her boyfriend out of prison because she says that her boyfriend was one of the. Well, she didn't say that's her boyfriend, but there was this. I swear she said boy, who had healing powers, and that, when she got injured at IGH because she got thrown up against the glass cabinet, and like an entire side got ripped to pieces in glass, and her spine got ripped to pieces, I think. He came along and healed her. And of course, like to Jerry, that's like, oh my god, this is a miracle cure. This is because she's contemplating like killing herself at this point. Like she's finding pharmaceutical ways to basically kill herself. So she's, this is like her last ditch effort, and she puts everything into getting her this guy out of prison because he was in prison. But when I saw him, I'm like, the ages don't match up here. Like she said boy, I'm pretty sure. Didn't quite work. But Jerry's not looking at that. She's like, he full on sells the whole healing thing, and he's a scam artist. He's a scam artist that's working with Ines as well. Kind of worked out perfectly for her. They ultimately rob everything out of her. Jessica kind of sees this right off the bat. Wants to tell Jerry, but she doesn't really want to hear it. And she's like, got all this hope now, and Jess doesn't want to take that away from her. But yeah, they ultimately steal everything. But the way she gets back at them is kind of, very, very Jerry Hogarth, or G Money, as Danny Rand calls her. Basically, convinces the girlfriend, sets up all this stuff about the boyfriend, about this Shane guy. Like, oh, he's getting money from all these women around the country. He's got this little nest egg. Well, you were out. Like, she was a homeless girl. Like, she had to go homeless to survive, sort of thing. To stay off of IGH's radar. So she's struggling while he's like, she makes that like, oh, he's got this like nest egg. He was gonna run away. Like, he didn't care about you and all the rest of it. Builds her all up to go confront him, and goes like, yo, take the gun. Sort of thing. Basically convinces her to shoot him, and then rings the cops and dobs her in for shooting him. Completely destroys them both. Destroys it without laying a hand on it, pretty much. Very Jerry. Very, very Jerry. Very manipulating. And she sort of gets her swag back from that. She ultimately, she leaves her firm and starts her own. She's like, if I'm gonna go down, if I'm gonna die because of this, debilitating illness in the next 4 to 8 years, I'm gonna put my name on a building. I'm gonna be the biggest lawyer in this place. People are gonna remember me because I don't have family, I don't have kids, I don't have all this stuff. I'm gonna make my name for myself that way. So I was just waiting, like in that final scene, they have a final scene with them sort of setting all up the office. I wanted Foggy to walk in because Foggy, kind of works with her. But No. I'd say probably he'll end up going. He'll end up going across. But yeah, I mean, another cool thing was when Kilgrave showed up. That was a cool thing. It sort of entered mind when Jess, killed a guard. Like there's like a third kill. She's struggling to deal with it because it was an accident. She didn't mean to kill him. It was sort of like she was blinded and she swung at him with the nightstick. Here's a bad dude. Here's a bad dude. She kind of has to hide it, set it up like a suicide. And it was just like trying to deal with everything, and she's getting these visions of Kilgrave talking to her, and it's just that charismatic villain guy just running around next to her. The witty one-liners and stuff like that. It was a kind of a cool thing. It was a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, the season was good. The season was good. I won't say that it was bad in any way. I think it was good, just not on that first season level. I think the first season of Jessica Jones was far better. It just doesn't. I think it's hard to recapture that magic, right? And they tried something different with the villain. Tried to use that origin story to their advantage. Play on the family cards, play on that family thing with their mom and all that. I think if that was the first half of the season, it works all the way up. You find out it's your mother, and she sort of gains control. But then a bigger villain shows up, and they sort of have to both deal with that. I think that would have been better. But the way this one went, not so much. I liked it, and I'm glad I watched it. And I think it is a really good watch, and you should watch it if you like these shows and like Jessica Jones. But I would have liked to have seen just sort of as a hero develop a little bit more, I think, which would have been nice. But the show itself was very cool to watch because I love that the detective noir stuff. It's very cool. And the Wizard was in it. The Wizard, a very old school sort of Flash look-alike hero from Marvel. Just look the Wizard up on Marvel. He's like a wartime with Cap. Cap in World War II. He was like around that sort of time. He was interesting for a little while there. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Worth a watch. Worth a damn good watch. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.